Welcome back to Wall Again, where passion meets music. And today we are reviewing this album, this brilliant album by Rory Gallagher, Deuce. Absolutely top notch. So a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a couple of months ago at this stage, I decided to start reviewing the Rory Gallagher albums. So that kind of came to a halt, and I decided to get back on and start reviewing these albums again. So we're on album number 2. The first time we did the debut album by Rory Gallagher, and now we're doing the second album. It's the second solo album by Rory Gallagher. So these are the albums that he recorded after he was in Taste. So of course the cover is very iconic there. I always love this cover, absolutely fantastic. The text is great. It's got the E from Deuce in green, and then you can see a black and white picture of Rory there playing his famous Fender Stratocaster. I think the back is very cool as well. You can just see Rory tuning up there. Again, it's in black and white with a kind of a hue to it. And then you've got the track listing on the back. So I'll jump into the track listing here. So the first thing to say is that this is a remastered CD from 2008, I believe. So the track listing on this is a little bit different to the original vinyl. And what's on the back of this replicates the original vinyl. So you've got two sides. I don't know if you can see that there. You've got side 1 and side 2 of the original vinyl. So I'll just run through the track listing on the original vinyl because it's a little bit different to the CD. So number 1 on the original vinyl is Used to Be, followed by I'm Not Awake Yet. They're actually reversed on the CD version. Then you got Don't Know Where I'm Going, Maybe I Will, Whole Lot of People, and then side 2 is In Your Town, Should Have Learned My Lesson, There's a Light, Out of My Mind, and Crest of a Wave. The credits on this album, obviously Rory Gallagher on vocals, guitar and harmonica, Jerry McAvoy on bass, and Wilgar Campbell on drums and percussion. And it was recorded at Tangerine Studios in London, engineered by Robin Sylvester and produced by Rory Gallagher. And of course, that famous picture on the front, that was taken by Mick Rock. So I really like the sleeve on this album. I think it's a really cool cover. But let's dive into some of the details about this album. So this album was released in 1971, okay? And it was released in November of 1971. So Rory had released his solo debut album, just titled Rory Gallagher, in May of 1971. And he spent a lot of time getting it organised and produced and arranged so that it sounded really crisp and clean and clear. But he wasn't happy with that. He wanted to go back to something that sounded like more of a raw, live sound. And a quote from Rory, what he actually said was, I was looking for a raw, earthy sound on Deuce, and I was really pleased with it. So that's interesting to hear that from Rory. He wanted to kind of take a step back from this pristine production technique, and he wanted to record it more like a live band. So you certainly can hear that throughout this album. So we'll start off with the first song on the CD, which is I'm Not Awake Yet. Now, I played a little bit of that at the start, so that song is pretty much an acoustic song, okay? But it's got bass and drums as well. I think it's one of Rory Gallagher's best songs, honestly. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Really love this one. I think it's one of those songs that grow on you. I think the more I've heard it over the years, the more I've definitely liked it. No doubt about it. But for me, one of Rory's best songs, an absolute classic. And then on the CD version, we move into I Used to Be, which is an absolute rocker, no doubt about it. It's Rory at his absolute finest. He's got a great electric guitar sound on this song, using his Fender Stratocaster. And of course, the solo in this is absolutely amazing. Blow your head off. Then we go into song number 3, which is Don't Know Where I'm Going. Now, to me, this is a very folky song. It's written on acoustic guitar again. And of course, in the background there, you've got harmonica as well. So, not one of my favourite Rory Gallagher songs. I'm not a massive folk rock fan, and Rory certainly goes deep into the folk rock genre on this one. So, yeah, probably one I would skip, but it's a decent song. It's not that bad. The next song is Maybe I Will, which is a brilliant tune, to be honest. It's very odd. The way the chords are moving around the whole time definitely keeps your interest. Something very different from Rory on this one, but a good song nonetheless. The last track then on side 1 on vinyl was Whole Lot of People. So this one, Rory really stretches out his slide guitar playing on this one. Absolutely phenomenal. He's all over the neck on this and really shows that he's a fantastic lead guitar player and a fantastic slide guitar player, I should say. And he develops that style a lot more as his career progresses. We all know, like, Tattoo has slide guitar all over it. Of course, the Irish Tour from 1974 has slide guitar all over it, and even some of his later albums. So this was kind of the start of Rory really stretching out on slide guitar. He had done some before, but I think on this track he really nails it. Then we move on to the second side of the album. First song on the second side is In Your Town. To me, this is like a real groove, a real 60s style sounding song. It's pretty cool. Probably not the strongest song on the album, but again, I don't think he's really putting a foot wrong on it. Just wouldn't be my style. The next song number 2 on side 2, is Should Have Learnt My Lesson. Now, on this one here, this is probably the weakest song on the album in my opinion. It's a standard 12-bar blues, okay? But he also puts his own little spin on it. But I don't think Rory needs to do that. He's a talented enough musician and a talented enough songwriter that he can just go and, play his own music and it's good enough. If you look at players like Eric Clapton or Jeff Beck, they really struggled to write their own songs, certainly early on. I know people might be saying, what are you talking about? Like Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck, two of the best songwriters of all time, two of the best guitar players of all time. And they certainly were able to co-write songs, and they had written some great songs throughout their career. But I don't think they're as prolific as Rory Gallagher. Rory Gallagher was a very prolific songwriter. He was able to write so many songs in such a short period of time, and then put them down, lay them down. And 90% of what Rory put out was his own material. He did like to cover stuff from his heroes, but the majority of his stuff was his own solo material. And I don't think even Eric Clapton or Jeff Beck ever got to that stage where they were able to write so much of their own material. You notice a lot even with Eric Clapton. He would often cover a lot of other artists in his albums and even throw covers into original albums. So you would have seen a lot of 12-bar blues in Eric Clapton's work. And again, for me, sometimes it can be okay, but a lot of the time it's just boring. It's been done a million times before, and I don't think guitar players of Rory Gallagher's ilk needs to do this, certainly when he's such a fantastic songwriter. So for me, that one's a skip, okay? I don't think it's a fantastic song, and I think it's a bit boring, a little bit underwhelming in my opinion. Okay, we'll move then on to There's a Light. Now, that song for me, There's a Light, to me, this is Rory Gallagher really jumping into the jazz side of things. Now, I don't know what you call it, jazz fusion, or jazz rock, or even lounge, but it's certainly different. There's no doubt about it. He is going in here showing that he can stretch out in jazz, showing that he's a very, very competent player and a very competent songwriter in the jazz genre, should I say. Absolutely brilliant song. It's very light. It's not like heavy jazz fusion like maybe, the Mahavishnu Orchestra or stuff that Al Di Meola would do. It's not that deep. It's kind of more a lighty, loungy sort of feel. But I still think he's great in there on that jazz track. There's a Light. So certainly an interesting one to check out if you're a Rory Gallagher fan and you're not aware of it. Or if you're not aware of Rory Gallagher and you think he's just all about the blues and the folk, go check that song out because it definitely brings a different element to what he can do. The second last track then, Out of My Mind. This was on the original album. There was only 10 tracks. It's an acoustic solo song. And yeah, I'll have to say I like this song. So it's Rory on his own singing and playing acoustic guitar. And we know that Rory is a fantastic musician, or was a fantastic musician, should I say. We all know he's a fantastic singer, a fantastic guitar player. And when he's in a band situation, in my opinion, that's when he's firing on all cylinders, But he can also deliver solo. And I think that's one of these songs like this really show what a fantastic musician he was. He had great groove in his rhythm guitar playing hand. He had great picking technique. He had great embellishments on his chords. And he was able to sing. And when you hear everything stripped away, you can really hear his voice. And he has a great voice. So in my opinion, Out of My Mind is one of his best acoustic guitar songs without a backing band. And fits in nicely at the end of this album. The last song on the album is one of Rory Gallagher's most well-known songs. It's called Crest of a Wave. I think it's brilliant, to be honest. It's a great rock song, great rock guitar in this one. Drums and bass obviously are back in for this after having the acoustic ballad. But yeah, I really like Crest of a Wave, and it's one of Rory's best songs, and there's a reason for that. It's because it's one of his greatest. Then there is, on the CD version, which is not listed on the vinyl list here, there is a song called Persuasion. Now this song was a bonus song. So when the Rory Gallagher team decided to start going back and basically taking songs from the archives and remastering the albums in 2008 and 2018, they put these little bonus tracks onto the albums. Okay, so every album has between 1 and 3 bonus tracks added to them, and it's actually gets you up to an extra album if you take them all out individually. But it's great, rare archive songs that are in the Rory Gallagher back catalogue that are included on these albums, and they're great to have, especially for a big fan of Rory Gallagher like myself. So the song on this one is called Persuasion. It's the bonus track, and it's absolutely blistering rock guitar song. Blew me away. I was listening to it there earlier today, and I have to say it absolutely rocks. There's no doubt about it. So that is my review of Deuce by Rory Gallagher. I think it's a fantastic album. Easily an 8 out of 10 for me. There's a couple of tracks in it I'd skip, but the stuff that's on there that I wouldn't skip is top drawer, A1. You've got everything there from folk to, as I said, jazz influences to just out and out rock and roll and blues rock. Rory tears it up on this one. The production is raw. I will agree what Rory was trying to do here. I know what he was trying to do. Get back to a raw, earthy sound, as he said. Yeah, the production is raw on it, but I think that actually adds to the character of this album. And certainly when you consider it was 1971, we hadn't gotten into the 80s where production was gone, very silly and over the top. So I think this production actually sat in well for 1971. But for me, Deuce is an absolute classic album by Rory Gallagher. Certainly up there with his best work, and I'm looking forward to reviewing all the best of his albums over the next few weeks and months, so stick with me for that. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you could also leave a comment below, if you tell me if you like this album or if you dislike this album. Would you agree with my takes on the songs? What's your favourite song on the album? What's your least favourite song on the album? What do you think about Rory Gallagher doing the jazz elements, doing the folk elements, doing the acoustic rock elements? I'll be very interested to hear your opinion. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, if you could please hit that subscribe button even. It really helps me out, and I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, I will talk to you on the next one, and bye for now.